Hi, this is David Tighe, the Managing Director of Bauer Media here in Northern Ireland, with another edition of Business Bites. And this week we're talking with Dave Cordner, who's the Managing Director of Central Belfast Apartments. Dave, welcome to Business Bites.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's great to see you. Let's get straight into the conversation. I imagine that from the title, the business deals in apartments in central Belfast, but I'm sure there's a lot more to it than just that. So tell us a little bit about the essence of the business. How long have you been going, and what kind of areas are you working in?
Yeah, we're a serviced accommodation management company. So essentially, we take our clients' properties and fill them with visitors coming to the city, renting them out per night instead of per month. We've been ranked number one on TripAdvisor since 2019, and we've hosted over 10,000 guests into the city since we started in 2016. Um, we, on average, generate our clients between 30,000 and 40,000 pounds in revenue per property per year. Um, and our mission really is to just give exceptional experiences of Belfast coming to the city, and also to give our clients, our property owners, that buzz back from property. Um, it's a really lucrative strategy, serviced accommodation, and we effectively allow our clients to get into the business without having to do any work whatsoever. So as the name of the company suggests, we're based in Central Belfast. Obviously, there's some plans to go into other cities, but currently at the minute we're right in the city centre. Great locations for visitors coming to the city, and yeah, it's just been great. We've sort of grew as the tourism industry in Belfast has grown, and obviously suffered as it suffered as well over the last few years.
Yeah. So if I'm in business, I mean, do you get business people that would be renting out apartments for a night or two nights as an alternative to a hotel, for example?
Absolutely, yeah. And that really sustained us during the last lockdown when leisure was closed, leisure visitors were closed, but business and essential travel was still allowed, and we had loads of business travel coming. And it's always been quite big in the city, but it really helped during the last year. There's more and more big business coming, setting up in the city, but also there's loads of little small businesses and contractors that you will never have heard of their company, but they're maybe specialists in their field in England or Scotland, and they're brought over to work on some of the big construction sites that we have all over the city. So it's a it's an exciting city. There's loads of people come here for loads of different reasons, and yeah, as I say, they have been really useful for us over the last lockdown in particular.
Yeah. And so, post lockdown, obviously, you mentioned there that you've been seriously challenged from a tourism perspective during the last 12 months, and business kept you going to a certain extent. So now we're coming out into this new phase. What's making up your market now, and what's been happening?
Well, it's still primarily leisure at the minute, and it's the big term staycations. Now, if you think back to 2021 or 2020, sorry, there was a question mark whether staycations would be a thing or not. And the concept was proved. It was quite slow to get started. I think when people were just a bit nervous about traveling and getting out there, we were allowed to open in June last year, but it was really only up until August that it really kicked off. This year has been completely different. We were allowed to reopen in April this year, and it just has been crazy. It's just hit the ground running. Primarily, I'd say 99% at the start of our visitors were from ROI. As we've gone on and things have got a bit better, the vaccine rollout has happened. We're getting more and more visitors from GB. Also, that's been made up with NI visitors as well, doing a proper staycation within their own country. But we're starting to see more and more brave pioneers from America and Australia making bookings for later in the year. So I'm super excited for that, because ultimately our international visitors are the best types of guests. Basically, they come here for a long period of time. They spend money in all the tourist attractions. They want to see all the best bars and restaurants. So they really are key to get those. It's really key to get those back for the whole industry. And there was some promising news today on the news that the it's with England and potentially EU and US are going to agree some travel corridor where if people have been double vaccinated outside of the UK, that they won't have to quarantine when they arrive here. Effectively, that opens up international travel again. Now, as I say, that's just talk in England, so hopefully we can get that rolled out UK wide. That would really be a game changer for us, particularly when the staycation market, as we know from last year, dials down a little bit in September once kids go back to school.
Yeah, obviously September is a crucial month, as you just mentioned, with the staycation market probably slowing up then until perhaps Christmas. What about the impact of things like significant events? Because obviously the events have disappeared. They're coming back now slowly, but they are starting to make a reoccurrence. Did you get a lot of people that were staying up and coming in for specific events?
Um, well, this year there haven't been too many events, but previously events would have been an enormous draw for people to the city. The big music festivals like Belsonic and Tenants Vital and things like that, big concerts, and also there used to be huge draws from our corporate travellers for conferences. And again, the conference calendar has just been paused and put on hold, with a lot of people opting to do their conferences virtually, which hasn't been good for us, but also the venues who host them all, and that's a significant um, loss of revenue for them. There's a lot of talk and confidence that the conference is going to come back next year, which will be great. And really, we just need all of these big events really to come back. And there are some that have been confirmed. I think Belsonic is happening later. This is in September. And we're certainly fully booked. I think the entire city's fully booked for that. That might also be the weekend of the Balmoral show. So there are some events happening, but certainly we need to get everything back to the way it was basically in 2019, because Belfast and Northern Ireland as a destination had some really awesome stuff for people to come and see. And people want to come and do these things. So it's just about how we can, or how the venues and the organisers can get them open safely, so that we can get them going again.
Yeah, I mean, the more I do these and the more I have these conversations, the more I realize how everything is completely connected. We were speaking with Belfast City Airport a couple of weeks ago, and they were telling us about the opening back up of all the routes that had sort of disappeared. And the more of those routes that you see opening, the more of those planes that you see flying in, the more potential that's going to be for your business and then the associated kind of retail businesses. So it really is joined up, isn't it? Do you feel that this it's a joined up city?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, the visitor spend I think in 2019 was £1 billion, and that was set to double over the next few years. It's not just about the people coming and staying in our accommodation. They go out and get their shopping in Tesco or the local shop. They go get coffees nearby. They go to the tourist attractions. They get taxis. It is so interconnected. There's so much money that comes in to the city from tourism and just from other visitors coming for work and whatever, that it's a massive pool of revenue that's just spread across the city. So there's been a serious knock from that for sure, and I think that's why everyone, it's not just about the travel and tourism sector, but everyone should miss the visitors coming. You used to see them with their little maps walking about the city. Just think about how much money those people are spending when they're in the city and they're just walking around. So we really need to get that back, because the numbers of visitors have been so much smaller, obviously, than before. Um, and even in the staycation market, not necessarily everyone who's coming for a staycation is going to do all of the attractions. People might go to bars and restaurants, but maybe they're not interested in the troubles. If they're from Northern Ireland, they don't want to do a black taxi tour. So there's, once you start getting the international travellers back in, that's when they get the whole picture of Northern Ireland as a whole and travel around and just spread that money all over the place.
Well, as you said earlier on in the conversation, it seems like at the time of recording that EU and US corridor could be opening up again, and I think that's going to be great for everybody. But Dave, we've come to the end of this chat this week. It's been great to talk with you. More power to you and the business that you're running, and thank you for being our guest on Business Bites.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.